Hello, and welcome to yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. Scott here, or, well, at least I think I'm here because I can't see my monitor in front of me because of this giant package, this monstrosity that we will soon find is filled with all sorts of wonderful goodness from Goodman Games. So rather than try to talk behind this mountain, I'll cut to the chase very quickly on this one without taking a sidebar like I usually do. This is a long-awaited Kickstarter, as I mentioned, that's coming from Goodman Games. It's for Dungeon Crawl Classics. It is the Dying Earth Fulfillment Package. And as far as I know, I believe I backed just about everything. So this taking up the entire screen for a moment should tell you that there's quite a bit inside. So I'm just going to try to get through most of it the best that I can. I really don't know what's in here. I did take a gander at the PDF a few times when they dropped, but I didn't want to spoil everything that, once I got it within my hands. So without further ado, I'm going to move this thing. I'll try to open it, but then I'm just going to move this thing out of the way so I can see. So just going to slide this over a little bit. And what do you know? I can see myself. So let's just kind of cut through this nonsense. Trusty Coleman steak knife here. We have not had an accident since 2021. Neither has my son or his friends accidentally stabbed each other because I left this out in the open. But, there's always hope. And that's a joke, so don't call child services. All right, so I don't even know. Okay. God, I feel like I'm 4 on Christmas and opening up a giant box. So here's what I'm going to do to simplify this. I will probably zoom in and out of the camera, but I'm going to set this on the ground and just take it out bit by bit, the best that I can. All right. Okay, so we are just going to stack it here, and then we will work through the process the best we can. All right. There we are. And what do we have here? 20% off code. Yeah, I'm not going to make that same mistake again. Yes. Okay. So not a lot in there, but it was packaged extremely well. Extremely well. So I'm very happy with that. All right. So what do we have here? Okay. So these are some, I believe these were Kickstarter tier groups, extra adventures for the Dying Earth. So I'm just going to set those aside for now. We have one box here. This is so these are the stretch goals inside, or yes, the special box set. So that means this is where we're going to begin. Right. Okay. So what do we got? For those who aren't familiar with a lot of the special editions that Goodman Games does, they will come within these nice little cardboard boxes, wonderfully illustrated, and also branded accordingly. Things such as Metamorphosis Alpha is one that I have that is like this, and others. Kickstarter exclusives. These are things that you wouldn't get after the fact. So what is inside? We've got the Dying Earth box set, and then we've got the adventures 0 through 5. So I believe this was just the basic tier. If you wanted to get everything, you would get just this and everything else, and then whatever the add-ons were. But this has been something that I've been anticipating for some time, not just its arrival, but when it was finally announced. And so, for people who have been awaiting certain Kickstarters like that, you tend to go all in because you don't want to miss out on special events such as this. So let's see here. Carefully open. Oh, just slide it there. All right. And let's just take everything out here. And we'll set the box aside. All right. Boom, boom. I wonder if the mic's picking that up. Been having some sound issues. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take the cellophane off here because we're getting some reflection from the light. I'm still adjusting the light for the new table. I don't have it perfect yet. So I'm getting anything that has any sort of glare picks up the reflections of these lights. I need something. I don't have professional lights by any means. This is primarily natural sunlight and some cheap lighting from Amazon. But just because of the situation and the corner that I'm in, make it something just a little bit more camera friendly. So there we are. Okay. Dying Earth, Adventures in the Doom World. This is the core box set based upon the Dying Earth book series by Jack Vance. And, it's plenty of you are probably familiar with it. At the very least, I would imagine some of you are familiar with the term Vancian magic. For those who may not be aware, this is where the term came from and its general usage of how magic works, for the most part, within the books and how they were translated into Dungeons and Dragons and how that magic system ended up being utilized, and amongst other things. So what do you get? You get the Player's Librum, 64 pages. You get the Primer of Practical Magic, 104 pages. Intimate Anatomy of Several Creatures and Personages of the 21st Aeon, 96. A 22 by 17 map of the environs, and downloadable codes for all the digital content, which I am hiding from you fuckers. And I think you can curse now on YouTube again, but oh well. This none of these get monetized, so it's no big deal. All right, well, there we go. There's the code. So fuck. Just ignore that. There we are. Okay. So here we are. So we got the Player's Librum. And again, I know I've overstated the obvious many times when it comes to Goodman Games' work. Let me just see if I can just correct that a little bit. There we go. Maybe? All right, whatever. The art. Art is a central focus within all of Goodman Games. It is, as far as I'm concerned, it's not the top priority, but it is definitely a close second with everything that they produce. And for the most part, there has yet been a single instance where, as far as the art layout and display is concerned, it's nothing short of exceptional for the game that it's being presented with. All right, so book 1, the Player's Librum. And okay, so we are going to welcome to the Dungeon Crawl Classics Dying Earth. So I'm just going to read this brief introduction because a lot of people, there we are, little brain fart there, aren't aware of it. I mean, it's just common knowledge. Granted, there's Appendix N has been around for many years, and of course, Jack Vance's works for much longer. But most of it's kind of like Lovecraft. A lot of people know of Lovecraft, but they haven't read any of his works or are familiar with anything outside of basically Call of Cthulhu. Likewise, within the gaming world, many people may know that, yes, the works of the Dying Earth and Jack Vance were an influence within Dungeons and Dragons, and maybe some are familiar with the fact that the Vancian magic is where it comes from. But aside from that, they have really no experience, have had any experience with his works. And I can say without question, highly recommended. So DCC Dying Earth is both a source book and setting for the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game that offers a portal to a singular world of the Dying Earth novels by Jack Vance. As a source book, it expands the DCC RPG core rules and gives players and judges new material inspired by the Dying Earth stories. It also provides a multifarious setting that evokes the distant twilight of Earth as a dim red sun sheds its last life. A world filled with the whimsical and the curious, the evil and monstrous, and where magic and science are one and the same. Within you will find new classes, creatures, patron spells, and more inspired by the Dying Earth for use in your DCC RPG game. With these tools, you can play in Cudgel's and Rialto's world and seek the mighty pendulum, or fall to an indifferent grue while searching for scantilant baubles among the ensorcelled remains of the ancient world. Yes, that was a lot of Vancian and very similar what most people might consider Gygaxian terminology, which is within all of Jack Vance's work. Yeah, granted, the stories are a fun thing to read, but for certain people, such as myself, who is dyslexic, it can be a bit of a struggle. But believe me, the reward is well worth the effort. So, DCC Dying Earth is explored over 3 volumes. The volume, The Player's Librum, provides information for players and judges on the setting and on creating new characters, including 4 new classes for the DCC RPG: Magician, Vat Thing, Wayfarer, and Witch. The Primer of Practical Magic details the history and use of magic in the 21st Aeon and includes new rules for spell creation along with new arcane and divine spells. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I lost my spot. I cannot read today. Along with new arcane, Intimate Anatomy of Several Creatures and Personages of the 21st Aeon presents new creatures, patrons, and magical instruments for use in campaigns in the Dying Earth setting. Excuse me. So they're going to go in and probably, give you a primer of Jack Vance himself, along with his stories, which they do. Very similar in the approach that they did with Lankmar and Liber's work, which is another one that I highly, highly recommend that you get. So it's going to go into a brief description of the 21st Aeon, along with the survey of all the Aeons that took place, geographical sites, and then we go into character creation. So I'm not going to go too in-depth into that. If you'd like to learn more about how character creation works, you can easily find out in the free RPG, the starter set, or not the starter set, the quick start for Dungeon Crawl Classics. Absolutely free. You can pick it up from their website at any given time. So, but we do, like I said, there are new options here. Magician. So I would imagine that magic probably works a little bit differently to keep in theme with how magic is utilized within the Vancian aspect of the world. But there's a lot to go through, so can go more into depth. I can go more into depth another day. Can't talk either. Jesus Christ. Can't read, can't talk. I don't know what else there is left to do. So, right. Languages of the Dying Earth, Vancian verbiage. Thank you. And as you can see, it's quite extensive. Yeah. So definitely brush up on your Vancian verbiage to really get that immersive aspect of role-playing within the Dying Earth. My God, there's a lot. Okay. And then we have typical advertisements for all the other wonderful DCC stuff. So there you are. So there's that. And then we have, come on out. There we are. All right. So we have the primer of Practical Magic, which seems to be a little bit thicker than the Librum. But of course, it's Dungeon Crawl Classics. So with magic comes tables. Wonderful, wonderful tables with all sorts of wonderful results. Okay. So let's kind of do a quick flip through of that. And fantastic cover. I love this. All right. Intimate Anatomy of Several Creatures and Personages of the 21st Aeon. And likewise, there's, not that DCC has any shortage of weird and wonderful creatures and monsters within it, but the world of the Dying Earth is going to add some more twisted and imaginative creations and monstrosities for you to interact with. Fantastic. All right. So there we are. All right. So next we have up the map. I'm the map. scoot this out. Ooh, nice. And again, there's no shortage of fantastic maps that come with your Dungeon Crawl Classics games. Ooh, careful. There we are. All right, so the world of the Dying Earth. So as you can see, it's vast and varied. And again, no shortage of wonderful and mystical locations to head to within the Dying Earth itself. But as you can tell, there's a little bit of a primer there. There's a little bit of, there's a small chapter in breaking down the world that you're in. I don't want to necessarily say that in order to play this game, you need to be familiar with these books. No, I would imagine that's not the case. Goodman Games would not present it as such, but it's helpful. But everything that you need within here, and likewise Lankmar, to be familiar enough with the world that you're in is going to be all you need to play this game such as this. I would imagine. I mean, I'm making a guess on that, but I'm just going on experience with their other game, Lankmar. All right, so trusty Coleman camping steak knife here. Just going to make a little slit here. All right, so we are going to have a treasure trove of adventures here, all adorned with fantastic and beautiful covers, as they always are. So we've got, starting with Dying Earth number 0, Pilgrims of the Black Obelisk, Level 0 Adventure by Julian Bernick and Mark Brunner. For thousands of years, the worshippers of the divine, Omeatiko, oh good lord, have devoutly held their precepts and kept vigil at the Black Obelisk, performing the rituals said to one day herald the return of the great god. Now you and your companions are ready to embark on your own pilgrimage to the distant holy city of Urze-Dameth, banded together for protection from the inhospitable wilderness and strange inhabitants of the Dying Earth. So, yes, so Level 0 Adventure. All right. I didn't know that they were in here too. All right. So, question, is this going to be a Level 0 adventure in the vein of a funnel, or is it a Level 0 adventure for individual characters? It doesn't really jump out at me, so that would be a question that will have to be answered later when I have time to go through the work. Okay. Next up, Level 1 Adventure by Julian Bernick, The Laughing Idol of Larshan. For centuries, the remote village of Pumriel has suffered the tyranny of the demon lord Larshan, this bellowing idol and his power-mad monks. Now you set to Pumriel to retrieve a priceless bottle of locally made brandy. But to find it, you will have to journey into the demon's temple and brave the terrors below the laughing idol. Then we have a Level 2 Adventure by Terry Olson, The Sorcerer's Tower of Sanguine Slant. Oof. Yes, I will have to stand in front of a mirror and practice some of these things if I run this. A gravity-defying tower of frozen blood suddenly appears, vanished for 2 millennia hitherto. It beckons the adventurous through exsanguination, the beratement of a sandestin librarian, appeasing minuscules, dancing the 14 silken moments, and a Pelgrane's share of luck. Only those fearless or fortunate will face the tower's imprisoned sorcerer, risk annihilation from an ion stone, and conquer the Tower of Sanguine Slant. So yes, I believe the ion stones themselves originated within the Dying Earth. The Magnificent Machinations with Grand Exposition of Marvels. You are hurting my tongue, DCC. DCC Dying Earth Level 3 Adventure by Bob Brinkman. It has been many years since Duke Orbal of Carneth last held the Grand Exposition of Marvels, and the scandal and rumor that plagued the event certainly are remembered by the locals. Still, the Duke is a man enthralled by wonders and prodigies, and it was only a matter of time before he acquiesced to his desires. Magicians, inventors, and mountebanks gather in hopes of winning glory and the prize of 1,000 terces. And then we have a Level 4 Adventure by Mark Brunner again, Mine West and Moonstone Palace, and This cover right here, I believe, was utilized for one of the most recent reprints, special edition cover. As you can see, it's fantastic. And if you're new to DCC and you're looking to get a core rulebook, having these wonderful variations of these covers, you can't go wrong. I can't really say if there's much difference of information within them. Sometimes there is, depending on the split between the core reprinting and the variant covers. But if you're looking for something a little different, get the variant covers. All right, aeons ago, the last of the magician philosophers of Grand Mothalam was driven into exile, where he wrought dark magics as vengeance against his enemies. Eventually cast down into the inland Durance, the servants were scattered and his palace was shattered. Now in the land north of the falling wall, rumors spread of the strange disappearance of magicians and the reappearance of a magical palace thought long destroyed. Will you and your companions discover the truth behind these unsettling events in time to prevent the devouring of all magic? Next up, we have Dying Earth, Penumbra of the Polar Ape by Harley Stroll. The one and only, a scholar and a gentleman. A strange shadow has appeared on a distant red star, a mote in the eye of the god that is hurtling earthward. You and your fellow magicians must travel across the cosmos to divine the nature of this dread penumbra and its curious inhabitants. If you succeed, you shall be rewarded with membership in an association of arcane wonder makers, but should you fail, the whole of the dying earth shall pay the price. Wonderful. And then what are these? Okay, so these are artwork. Looks like, are they recreations of all of them? Not all of them, a few of them. Wonderful. And then we have grudge tokens. Yes, so again, I haven't looked into much, but grudge tokens are something that are utilized with the game, similar to fleeting luck within the Lankmar game. Not entirely sure of what they're utilized for, but yeah, more wonderful tokens to have and add to the DCC collection. All right, so we have two more here. And how long is this running? We're 22 minutes in, so I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. So carrying on, we have DCC Dying Earth number 6, a level 2 adventure by Julian Burnick. The call has gone out. 2 magicians have summoned intrepid adventurers to dispatch the Visp that is menacing a remote village. The journey is fraught with peril, both from the monstrous denizens and the scheming inhabitants of the Dying Earth. But when the weary travelers arrive at their destination, they find that certain elements of their commission defy their expectations. All right, another one by Bob Brinkman, a level 3 adventure, Phantoms of the Ectoplasmic Cotillion. Long ago, a group of magicians sought to overcome death itself. Jealous wizards attacked them, seeking to steal their secrets, but failed. The Crypto Academia sealed themselves beneath the earth, within the Asurial laboratory, and faded from memory. Yes, rumors of the ring that can raise the dead, allowing its wearer to overcome mortality, persist, and such tales can draw unwelcome attention. It's been aeons now. Could such magic still exist? The wearer would bear incalculable power. It's a prize for the ages, and it must be yours. And then finally, we have Dying Earth number 8, a level 3 adventure by Errol Otis, which I believe, was he a Kickstarter add-on? I don't remember. I think so. Maybe. We'll see. Storm-tossed adventurers land on a strange island populated by monsters and ancient ruins. Oh, sorry, the house on the island, in case I forgot to mention it. They are offered one hope: rescue the son of the friendly water weird and keep the treasure she offers in return. The Gaius will take them to an exotic island, a living house, and into an underground alien world, brought to you from the imagination of the legendary Errol Otis. So, as you can tell, there is no shortage of material. So, and then of course, there is a separate box, Kickstarter only, of the Kickstarter stretch goals. And considering we are approaching the 30-minute marker, I may not give as much attention to these. We will breeze through these, because for those of you who are anticipating your box arriving soon, you will want to go through this in much more detail yourselves. All right. Come on. Solid box. Okay, so hopefully I don't expose any other codes. So, all right. Oh, wow, this is a thick one. Okay, so stretch goal, casebook of Arcane Apocrypha, based on the Dying Earth book series of Jack Vance. So, yep, there's a code in there, so I'm just going to flip to this one. So what is it? Well, I know. Nope, no description on the back. All right. Subsequent antecedents and Kickstarter, thank you. All right, so that's a Vancian, I would imagine. All right, wow, when we started on the Dungeon Crawl Classics Dying Earth project in the fall of 2017. Wow, that long, huh? We had no idea that almost 5 years later, after multiple phases of design, numerous playtesting sessions, and even through a pandemic, we would be where we are at this moment with the incredible help from fans new and old that has allowed us to bring even more of Vance's multifarious and entertaining world to our shared tables. What an amazing amount of support the backers of the project on Kickstarter showed. I know that I speak for the entire team behind DCC Dying Earth when I say that we were humbled by your encouragement and feedback, even if a little terrified at the sheer scope of the additional material we had to produce. In the end, we have strived to compile words, art, and engines equivalent and equipoise to the enthusiasm you gave us, and this volume dedicated to our backers is part of the result. Within you will find 100 pages of new material to expand on your DCC Dying Earth setting, including new spells, patrons, location guides, magician manses, and much, much more. Thank you for support and encouragement. This, along with the rest of the DCC Dying Earth material, is now in your hands to be explored, played, and used as you see worthy of your tables. Again, I am humbled and grateful for the opportunity to now pass this on to you, the players. Mark Bruner, February 2022. Thank you, Mark. So, what do you get in here? So, Chapter 1 is More Magic of the Dying Earth, which includes curses, wizardly objurgations, spells, expanded arcane spells, and expanded witch spells. Chapter 2 are more patrons of Dying Earth with Magnance, the Mirth, and then lastly, nothing, all caps. Chapter 3 is more notable personages of the Dying Earth. Chapter 4 is additional environs of the Dying Earth, including magic manses and locations. Chapter 5, more talismans, amulets, and instruments, both minor and major. Chapter 6, monster ecologies and lairs. And Appendix Z, 100 Vancian names and titles, along with a Sandestin and Demon folio. So I was going to do a little, just kind of quick flip through here. Yeah. And of course, included is, as always, fantastic maps and wonderful black and white artwork. All right, so that is one book within the Kickstarter extras. Of course, we get a wonderful judge's screen. Right. So, Wayfarer Reticle Deed Fumble result, Magical Force of Will, Idiosyncratic Inhabitants, Random Encounters by Area, Dying Earth Overland Speeds, along with ability modifiers, equipment, ammunition, armor, coinage, and values, which transferred vitality and weapons. And then with a picture of the cover on there. And then we also have a pad, character sheets, tons of these. Oh, wait. Oh, and that's not just character sheets. Second part is starting spell library. Oh, I see. Okay, these are. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm gonna move the character sheet aside. Let's take a quick look at this. Starting spell library. Vandal's Comprehensive Cyclopedia Beginner Magics. Oh, interesting. Very cool. And then Whole Arts Minor Imprecations. Very awesome. Okay. So I'm going to set that aside. And what else do we have in here? We have the wonderful Goodman Games Gazette. That tends to come with most of these things. We won't go into too many details here. We'll read that on my own later. Oh, and then last we have the Art Folio. This I like. Those who've listened to this channel know I am a giant stan for RPG artwork and can't get enough of it, and love presenting it and love sharing it. So let's see here. We've got, so the map was, obviously well done by Doug Kovacs, but we've got Chuck Whalen, Bradley K. McDevitt, Doug Kovacs within, Stephen Pogue, Cliff Kurkowski, Chris Arneson, William McAusland. Yep. More with Chuck Whalen. And then others, let's see here, Jesse Moen. And continuing on, C. Aaron Creeder, Tom Galambos, and more by Doug Kovacs, William McAusland, and Jesse Moen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I apologize. Chad Sergsketter, and more from Cliff Kurkowski and Stephen Pogue and Bradley K. McDevitt, Tom Galambos, and then closing with Stephen Pogue. Oh, more on the back. Bradley K. McDevitt and Chuck Whalen. So yes, always a gigantic group effort when it comes to illustrating the Goodman Games books, both inside and out. So there you go. Just going to kind of tidy up here for a moment, but wow. For those of you who have already received your fulfillment, already know about all the wonderful things that are inside, and I can only imagine you are just as pleasantly surprised and stunned as I am of just the amount of material that was provided here. Let's go back in. Oh, well, we'll deal with these later. But yeah, so is it as good as I expected? Yes. Is it more than I expected? Yes. Am I foaming at the mouth to play this game as soon as I can? And that would be a third yes, without question. So general thoughts on it. It's like anything such as this, any sort of Kickstarter that comes at you like this, it can be a bit overwhelming. The Goodman Games aspect and layout, though, does seem like it's going to make it easy to digest. And of course, all this stuff isn't something that you don't need to sit down and ingest all in one evening. But I'm excited. I am very, very excited to see if I can hopefully get something running within the Dying Earth, whether it be locally or online with my online friends. And just enjoy what this game has to present, and it's Malibu Stacy's new hat. Everything can just piss off and fall to the wayside. I wanted to take time and play this while it's still fresh and new, and I'm excited, and other people are excited to play it. So, where are we at? We're at 33 minutes. This is a little bit of a longer unboxing, but compared to other ones, it still falls short. I didn't get too sidetracked or focus too much on going through the details, but there you go. This has been yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, obviously, share it, spread the word, subscribe, like it, whatever, whatever the template tells us that we need to do at the end of these videos. I will, if there's any sort of links to provide, I will put it in the description. And, but yeah, if you missed out on this Kickstarter, I'm sure it will be out soon enough through Goodman Games. But in the meantime, get yourself a copy of Dying Earth. Get the physical book, listen to the books on tape, whatever the case may be. Treat yourself. Treat yourself to the wonder that is Jack Vance. And in anticipation of this arriving for retail, and if you find that that his world is for you, you will probably end up enjoying this as much as I do. and so many other people who will be once they get into it, or for those who don't have it yet, hopefully it arrives soon. So yeah, and also a little side note, check me out at the Titterpigs Tabletop RPG podcast I do with Keith from Rolling Boxcars. There'll be a link in the description to that, and hopefully within the next week we'll be dropping our next episode of our interview with Johan Noor and Pele Nilsson from Mork Borg. We had an interesting and enlightening conversation with them, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as we did. So without further ado, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you soon. And my mouse died. It's not unprofessional unless we close unprofessionally. Take care.